Hello, beautiful. Welcome to the first Thursday talk of 2025. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season and you're ready for an amazing new year because it all starts right now with me, Susanna Kay, on our Thursday talks. So today we are talking about anxiety and organizing, how to feel less anxious so you can actually get things done. And this one is kind of a hot topic for me because this is something that I used to struggle with all the time. So I'm really hoping that this will help you out as well. Now, in the chat area, I asked you to tell me, how does anxiety stop or slow you in your organizing? So just let me know, what does anxiety do to you? Does it stop you and make you sort of paralyzed and you can't move forward or do anything? Does it overwhelm you so you feel like you have to escape? Does it inspire you so you have to take action? What happens when you get overly anxious and you're trying to work on a paper organizing project, your to-do list, a home organizing project, whatever it is? I would love to find that out. And while we're at it, I also have a free download for you. This is the free Anxiety Reset Worksheet. Now, this is available for the next week at susannakay.live, L-I-V-E, /Thursday-talks-worksheet. You can download this and use this whenever you're feeling anxious to help you just get back on track, relieve that anxiety, and keep moving forward. So link is also in the description of this live video on YouTube, as well as on our podcast at The Organizing Mindset. So check this out, download this today. But whether you are stretched the limit and burnt out, or you're struggling to reach that last little bit of your goal and you're just not getting there and you've hit that wall of frustration, hopefully these 3 anxiety busters will help you. All right, let's head over to the chat area because, like I said, I asked you how anxiety affects you. Also, let me know who you are, where you're joining me from, because I always love to be able to say hi. Okay, so first off, we have Nancy. Nancy says hi from Colorado. She says, when I feel overwhelmed, I stop and get back in the recliner, drink tea, and eat cookies, right? That's similar to my response. It involves a lot of TV and usually some form of cookie, often Thin Mints when they're available. So me too, it just paralyzes me. Hi, Sue from New Jersey, welcome. She says, my anxiety comes from being overwhelmed with too much stuff. Yes, when your brain can't even process where to begin sometimes, or how long it's going to take, that'll shut you down for sure. Lori says, Happy New Year from Ohio, and Brana's here. She says, good morning and Happy New Year from California. CJ says, good morning, Happy New Year from Northern California. And we've got Jana. I'm not sure why you're not seeing anything, but I see you. You're here. Sharon says, hello all. And Sandy says, good morning, Happy New Year. So Lori says with anxiety, she does get paralyzed and confused with what to do, right? Even that just first step when you're overwhelmed and paralyzed can seem impossible to even figure out what it is. Okay, so Peg got a strange message. I will have to look into that because I did not get that message when I tested this morning, so I'll have to double check that. Oh, the link for the download. Got it. Okay, well, I will double check that because that should not be the case. But let me post for those of you live right now before I get a chance to fix it. In the chat area, I am putting a, a direct link to the download for you. So when you click on that, that'll open it through Google. And you can download it right there until I get a chance to hop in and see what's wrong with that link because it was working earlier. Who knows, technology, right? All right, CJ says, I find that anxiety makes my attempts to organize become disorganized and chaotic. No focus equals no progress, right? Sometimes it causes us to just do anything or do the wrong thing or go in the wrong order and make more of a mess than we did to begin with. Yeah, I can understand that. Melody says, hi and Happy New Year. She says, lots of anxiety here. Too much to do. All high priority and time sensitive. Wish I could clone myself. right? I don't know that the world needs another me because I'm a little crazy in a good way, good crazy. But yes, I would love to be able to just kind of photocopy part of myself and set it to work on my to-do list. And yeah, Melody, you do have a lot of high priority, time sensitive things going on too. So understandable. Hopefully these will help you as well. Well, let's dive in then and keep telling me as you hop on what happens when you have anxiety. How does anxiety affect you, especially with organizing? And if you're not already a Path member, then consider joining the Pathfinders Plus Club at SusannaK.com. Head over to the store. But for my Pathfinders, today at noon, in about an hour, we will do our weekly check-in and topic discussion, which we can dive deeper into some of these. You can ask questions and get specific answers for you and all that good stuff for my Pathfinders. So make sure to join me if you are a Pathfinder. Join me at noon. Okay, so I already told you today's topic, anxiety and organizing. And this is a topic where we will do a part 2 even next week with an additional several different steps that you can take to relieve your anxiety when you're organizing or trying to get things done on your to-do list. But here are 3 to start with, because you never want to start, I could give you a list of 20 different ways that you could do it, and that would actually probably cause you more anxiety than any of it would help. So I encourage you, out of the 3 that I talk about today, pick one. Pick one to try out that new thought or that new method and work on that for the week. And then next week, out of those, you could pick another one. Then you'll have more to choose from. And don't try to do them all at once because that could actually increase your stress. All right. So let me find the first one. There we go. For all of my analytical people, my logical ones who are spreadsheet lovers and like to figure out, how can I put a number to this? Or how can I add this to a spreadsheet? This is a good one for you. Analyze the fear. So when I say analyze the fear, anxiety is very much fear-driven. Anxiety is simply a symptom of a fear going on underneath the surface, right? So let's figure out what is that fear that's underneath the surface, because that's going to give you so many more answers than sitting there and trying to do 200 different techniques from all the anxiety books in the world. So what is the fear? Now, this is where you can use your Anxiety Reset Worksheet, the free download as well. And I wanted to see if I can share a copy with you, but let's see if it will let me actually share the screen right now. It's being slow. All right. I'm going to keep working on that while I talk. But anxiety, like I said, it is simply a symptom of a fear. So if we can figure out what it is going on underneath, what is that fear, then we will have a much better chance of reducing and even eliminating that anxiety. Because that anxiety is just your body is telling you something. It's simply a message. So a lot of times I do like to think of anxiety as this is not something out of my control. I can control anxiety to a certain level, but it's also something I'm thankful for, because with anxiety, that's my body and my brain telling me there's a problem. And the more we learn to listen to our body and our brain, the better we're going to be able to handle when there is a problem and know what the problem is. So all that being said, my analytical people, my logical people, let's analyze what that fear is. So take a step back, look at it as if it's not even you, and analyze what is going on. Change your focus. So you're not thinking about I'm in the middle of it. Change your focus from the problem, focusing on the problem, to problem solving, right? We want to solve the problem, not focus on the fact that there is a problem. We already know that. Fix that. There we go. I don't like misspellings. My mom was a teacher. So First off, you're going to change your focus from the focusing on the problem to focusing on the solution. You're going to kind of look at it as though this is not even your problem necessarily. You're going to detach a little bit and go, okay, what is going on here? Identify what your fears are. Use the Anxiety Reset worksheet that I gave you, that download for today, and do the first question. When your anxiety hits, what are you focused on? Describe what the project is, the task is, what's most on your mind and concerning you about it, why you feel this way. Think about what the rules and deadlines and expectations are for the project. Use all of those different techniques. Oops, wrong button. Use all the different techniques on the Anxiety Reset worksheet, right? And then once you've done that, think about, why is this so scary? All the research that you just did, what are you focusing on? What is it about the task that seems daunting? What types of anxiety are you feeling? What are the symptoms? What is so scary? Why is this so scary? Now, the nice thing is, just by writing it down and giving it words, that makes it less scary. Whenever you're overwhelmed and stressed out and anxious, then just write it down, give it words. And whenever we have something to call it, then it makes it less. It reduces that stress. So analyze the fear, get logical about it, look at it like a scientist, poke it, prod it, and do your best to figure out where it's coming from. Now, at first, you might not be great at this. That's okay. If you can't come up with all the answers, don't worry. The more often you do this, the easier it's going to be, and you will not need the worksheet after a while, and it'll just become natural whenever anxiety pops up. But you got to start somewhere, right? All right, number 2, this is also on the Anxiety Reset worksheet. What can you control versus what can't you control, right? So let's figure out, from whatever the problem is that's making you anxious, the project, the fear, what can you control and what can't you control? Because if you cannot control it, that's the time to label. Maybe you can't control the fact that you're trying to contact the IRS to get some answers. You're trying, but accept the fact, okay, well, I cannot contact them, I'm not getting through, and let that go. Whether they answer the phone or not, you can't control it. Let go of whether they answer the phone. What you can control if that stops you or not. You can control if that shuts you down and you don't look for another way, right? So sometimes the deadline. Can you control the deadline? Are you afraid of missing a deadline? Did you set that deadline for yourself? If so, you're in control. Can you adjust the deadline? But if somebody else set it, there's usually a way. So often there is no deadline on whatever's making us anxious. So remind yourself, even though you feel like there's a hurry, there's not. There's not only one way to do it, right? A lot of times we get stressed out and feel like we need to control how it gets done in the way that we expect it to. We expect to call the IRS, get them on the phone, get the question answered, and finish the form. But if you can't get a hold of the IRS and you cannot control whether they're busy and answering the phone or not, is there only one way to do it? Probably not. There's probably another way to get the answer, right? So start looking at it from different perspectives, because you can control the way it's done, right? You can control how you choose to do it. What can you control? If it's perfect. You're in control of how perfect it is, and you're in control of what that means if it's not perfect, right? It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be effective. It needs to get the job done. There are very few things that need to be perfect. So unless you're like a neurosurgeon where perfection is important, then perfect is not the goal. Getting it done is the goal. So you're in control of not only whether it's perfect or not, but you're also in control of what perfect means to you. Why does it need to be perfect? Who is going to care, right? So you're in control of that mindset about perfection. So one example of that is doing the best I can to be accurate like whether it's taxes or doing my bookkeeping, doing the best I can to be accurate with what I know at the time and the resources I have, and asking for help if I need to. Is it perfect? Maybe the columns aren't formatted all the same. Maybe I do make a mistake, but as long as I do my best, then I can't really be blamed, right? I did the best I can with what I had at the time. So trust yourself, trust that what you know at the time is going to be good enough to get the job done, or it's not going to be the end of the world, right? So that's something you control. So far we talked about analyze the fear, take yourself a step back from that fear, identify what that fear really is about, and think about why is that so scary? And one of the best ways to do that is to change your focus from looking at there's a problem to problem solving. Okay, well, let's figure out this problem. Let's see all the sides of it so we can figure out how to attack it, right? And then we talked about what can you control? If you can't control it, you need to just accept it and let it go, because focusing on something you cannot control is just going to raise that anxiety, right? You can't control that it got into that mess if you're overwhelmed by mess. You cannot control what the past you did. You can control what the present you does, right? Before I move on, I wanted to, we've got our third one, which is one of my favorites and probably the easiest one that always works in some way or fashion. But just a reminder, we've got the Anxiety Reset Worksheet. The link is in the description as well as in the notes on the podcast. It is in the comments if you are on YouTube or Facebook. But the one in the comments, if you do have a problem with it, also in the comments, I posted the direct link. So I will make sure that there's no problem with that link, because some people have had problems with it. So that's our free download. Also, if you love the Thursday talks and you want these to be able to continue, then consider supporting me. You can choose the amount, but it would just really help me out. So that way I can continue to give these free Thursday talks each week to help you along the way with your organizing, your productivity, and your general health and happiness tips to make your 2025 even more amazing. So you can choose to support me with whatever amount works for you at SusannaK.live, L-I-V-E, /support. SusannaK.live /support, and it's very much appreciated so I can continue to provide this free service. All right, let's hop over to the comments really quickly. Now, there we go. All right, so in the comments, my software is acting funny. Here we go. Yay, Peg says, thanks, I got the worksheet from the chat. Yay, I'm glad. Thank you for letting me know that you had a problem. Yay, Lady finally made it onto YouTube and got on the chat. Yay, that's huge. That's awesome. I'm so glad that you're here. Kathy says, I agree with these for myself too. Good, yes, right? Grandma C, hi Connie. She says, Happy New Year. Connie is here and watching on the big screen TV. You look great, Susanna. I do not have anxiety anymore. Yay. Oh, I love to hear that. Whenever I hear somebody has, taken a huge step and overcome a huge hurdle like anxiety, that is amazing. That makes me so happy, Connie. And I'm glad you can see me really big. Hi, Karen. Happy New Year to everybody. She says, Lori with an O is here. She says, I like your idea to look at it from outside of myself, like third person in language arts and writing. Yes, exactly. It helps when we take it away from it happening to us, because then we cannot get as wrapped up in it emotionally and see things a little bit clearer, right? That's awesome, Lady. She says, supporting you has been cheaper than a therapist. I love that. Thank you. Lori says, downloaded and printed the worksheet, taking notes on it. Yay. Hello, lovely Marie. She says, blessed day to all. Thank you so very truly appreciated. Thank you. Eloise says, Happy New Year, my Susanna K family, with lots of love for Texas City, Texas. Hi, Eloise. Glad to have you here. All right. Well, we talked about analyze the fear. We talked about what can you control. And if you can't control it, it's not easy, but work on just letting it go. Accept it. And then you can let it go. You have to accept that it is what it is and that you're not going to be able to change it. Then number 3, get moving. Literally get moving. Move your body. One of the things that I fall into this trap of all the time is when I get overwhelmed, then I get paralyzed and I shut down and don't do anything and can't even think about it, right? And along with that paralysis, what happens when we're paralyzed? We can't move, right? We're in a one spot, sedentary, not taking any form of action at all. My biggest action at that point is clicking the remote control and getting a Thin Mint cookie into my mouth, right? So first step, if you are in that paralyzed state or if you're in that overwhelmed state and you can't even think straight, to start to move forward mentally, move your body. Even if you're not moving your body to do whatever the thing is that's causing you the anxiety, just simply moving your body is amazing. When we move our body, our brain naturally shifts more towards a forward thinking focus, right? When you're moving your body and doing something, even if it's as simple as a walk around the block or doing the dishes, when you're moving your body, your brain does not worry about the past as much. It might some, but it's not past focused. It's focused on forward. What's next? What am I doing so that I don't, burn myself with the hot water or spill all the water on me as I do the dishes? What am I doing right now so I don't trip over the dog while I walk him around the block? Physically moving will change your focus to be more future forward focused. And you can never get rid of anxiety by focusing on the past. It just doesn't work that way. You cannot get rid of anxiety by having an immovable brain that's not focusing on moving forward. Anxiety lives in the worries of the present and the regrets of the past, or the sadness of the past, right? So if you can get your body moving, it automatically shifts your brain to be more forward thinking. Not only that, but it's good for your body and it's good for your brain, not just health-wise, but in order to think more clearly and have a fresh perspective, our body and brain need to feel a little bit more functional and healthy, and then get that oxygen that we bring in up to our brain so our brain can use it to function better. So when you're moving around, you're breathing better, your blood's pumping better, so you can get that oxygen to your brain better, and your brain will actually process information better. So physically, you don't have to think about it. Just moving is automatically going to make your brain work at a more optimal level. So of course, if you do have a physical limitation where you cannot move, there are other ways to achieve this. Just, let me know during the Pathfinders Thursday talk or shoot me an email and I can give you some other ideas. We don't want you to hurt yourself if moving is not good for you. But in general, most of us can move in some way that is not detrimental to our health. And just moving is going to make a huge difference, even if it's just moving your arms, if that's all you can do, right? If you're not sure what to do when you're moving, do some jumping jacks, do some stretches, stretch your arms out, sideways, up, walk around your house aimlessly. Any form of movement works. And then once you're moving, that's when you can take a small step towards whatever you're trying to complete, or take a small step towards figuring out your anxiety with the worksheet, right? Take a small step by pulling out that worksheet. Maybe you walk around while thinking about some of the answers to the worksheet. It's a great way to do it. But once you take one small step in the direction of solving the problem, it's easier to take the other steps. The first step's the hardest. Just like when you get on a bike, first time you pedal is hard because you have to get the bike moving in that direction. And your brain's thinking harder because it's thinking, okay, I need to balance the bike and I need to decide where I'm going and I need to see all the obstacles coming up. So that first step is the hardest. So if you need to file a huge pile of papers and you're overwhelmed because your filing system is definitely not working well for you, take a step, whatever step it is, whether it is hopping into that filing cabinet and starting to adjust it so it works better, maybe purging some things. If it's filing the papers into the filing cabinet anyway, so that way at least they're there when you're ready to tackle it, or even not tackling the project itself, but trying to solve the problem by getting some help, maybe signing up for the Paper Path course, joining the Pathfinders Plus Club, finding that help to get you moving forward and figure out what the next steps are. That's what it's there for. So whatever small step it is, whether you're doing the task itself or finding a solution to why you can't do the task, getting help, that first step is the hardest. Other steps happen because you took the first one. They can't happen if you don't start. So going to the gym is easier once you get in the car with your gym shoes on, right? So get moving. Get moving is the third one. And that's probably the easiest one because you don't have to change a mindset or think or analyze or anything. So back to the comments really quickly, and then I will recap what we talked about really fast for you. So in the comments, let's see, Lady says she printed the worksheet and it will be a great help. Yay, fantastic. And the worksheet has a couple of other things on there for you, some other questions that I did not cover during this session that can also help you out. So hopefully that worksheet adds to what you learned today. Peg says it helps to play my Spotify playlist to get moving, doing the dishes, doing laundry, etc. Music is a huge help, right? Music is a fantastic help. So if in doubt, put on some music. I love that, Peg. Really, really good one. Hi, Rosella. She says, Happy New Year's blessings 2025 from New York City. Welcome. Thank you, Rosella. Happy New Year. All right, so let's do a quick recap of the 3 tips that we talked about today. Remember, next week we will talk about some additional tips on how to handle anxiety and overwhelm and get moving and get past it. But we covered 3 today. Pick one of these to try out. So tell me in the chat as we go through this recap, which one of these resonated with you the most that you're going to try out, right? Which one are you going to test out this week? So the 3, here we go. The 3 ways to feel less anxious so you can get things done are, number 1, analyze the fear. Step away, look at it as though you are an outside person, so you're not emotionally involved. Change your focus, so you're focusing on finding a solution rather than focusing on the fact that you have a problem. You can focus on what the problem is. You can analyze the problem, but don't focus on the fact that you have it. You have it, period. Let's solve it. And identify your fears. Identify what's going on to cause that anxiety, why. The Anxiety Reset Worksheet is going to help you with that, and that is available for free on the link in the description. Number 2, what can you control about the situation? What is within your control? Because those are the things that you can make a change with or work with. Whatever you can't control, if you cannot control it, you must, in order to get past the anxiety, accept the fact that it is what it is and it cannot be changed, and let it go. It's not a problem you can solve. Stop trying to be upset about the fact that it exists. Stop trying to solve that problem. If it's out of your control, accept it first and let it go. And then focus on what can you control. Can you control the deadline? Or is there a deadline? If there's no deadline, remind yourself you can control your mindset. You have time. You can control how it gets done. Might not get done the way you thought that it needed to, but is there another way? You can control whether or not it needs to be perfect, right? Are you aiming for perfect? Or are you afraid of it being imperfect? Fix that mindset and you can start moving forward again. What types of things can you control? So number 3, get moving. This is the easy one. physically just move. It does not matter if you're moving towards solving the problem specifically or you're just moving to move. Whether you throw on music and do a dance break, give the dog a walk around the block, do the dishes, aimlessly wander around your house, anything that you do that's physical and gets you moving changes your brain without you trying. It automatically, with zero effort from you, changes your brain to think more forward focused rather than past and the stagnant present focused. It helps you think forward, and you need to think forward in order to solve this problem. It also helps increase the amount of oxygen getting to your brain so your brain can problem solve and look at things more objectively and feel healthier, which makes you feel better, your mood. So getting that oxygen to your brain from the simple act of moving and getting the blood pumping will simply help you out. And once you take the first step to anything, all the following steps are easier. Once you've gotten moving, as soon as you can, take the first step towards whatever that task or project or next step is. Or that first step, if you have no idea, the first step towards getting help, right? The first step towards finding out what the problem is. And once you take that step, the other steps are much easier. So that was our recap. All right, remember, coming up at noon, we have our Pathfinders weekly check-in and our topic discussion. So if you are a Pathfinder, make sure to join me in about half an hour. If you're not a Pathfinder yet, I would love it if you want to join us. We are an amazing group of women who absolutely love and welcome new people, women and like-minded people into the group. So if you're a guy, that's okay. Come join us. We're mostly women, and we would love to have you there with us. Yeah. So we absolutely love new people. Our whole goal is to support each other, to encourage each other, and to have those answers, to be that help. I'm there live. This is your way to access me live. To be that help specifically for you to get past these things, to help with the anxiety as far as taking that step, figuring out what's going on a little bit more. So join the Pathfinders Plus Club, SusannaK.com, click on store, and we would love to have you. Really quickly, let's hop over to the comments before we wrap up. Yes, Melody, very, very true. She says, anxiety and ADHD simultaneously is quite challenging. It is. And as somebody who also, like you and me, girl, I also have ADHD. And having anxiety with ADHD can be more difficult in general. But think of ADHD in this case as your superpower. Because your ADHD, if you're like most people with ADHD, you can think of things from more different angles than most people. You're like this genius of connections, seeing all these different things that it could be, seeing all the different aspects of what the anxiety could be from, or problem solving. You're probably a great problem solver. So use your ADHD as your superpower to help you with the anxiety. Because yes, the anxiety can affect you in a more extreme way, but you can also handle it in a really cool way that a lot of people can't. So if you need help with some of your ideas on how to use the ADHD, all your superpowers of ADHD to help you with your anxiety, let me know in the Pathfinders chat and I can give you some ideas. Lady says, could you put the next session in my email, please? I'm not sure exactly what you're asking for. So if you can clarify that either right now or in the Pathfinders chat, let me know. I'm not sure what you mean by put the next session in your email. CJ says, get clear on what I can and cannot control. Then accept things I can't change. Ditch the perfectionism. Yes, I love that. That is a perfect one to focus on. I have to remind myself of that one all the time. Grandma C, Connie, she says, number 3, she's focusing on get moving. I'm not going to get anything done sitting in my rocking chair covered up with my blanket. Yeah, right? The only thing I achieve is more inches around my waistline from all the Thin Mints. Get moving. Lori says, reminder to like this session and share with someone right now. Aw, thank you, Lori. Yes, make sure if you are watching to like this video, share this video. That helps me out so much, and it'll help them out too, hopefully. CJ says, I can't join the Pathfinders Plus meeting today, but thank you for the session. See you all soon. No worries, CJ. We'll see you next time. I love ya. Nancy, such great info, manageable steps. Gonna try them. Yay! Lori H says, identify what I'm afraid of, and then what can I control? Right? Good. I love that. And what can't you control? Sometimes making a list of the things that you can and can't control, just writing them down helps. I love it. Eloise is going to get moving. Yes, I love that. Get moving. Rosella says, I'm going to do number 1 first, and then try to move on to number 2 and number 3. Wonderful. I love it. Yeah, try one at a time. And that's a great way. And, adjust it for you as well. Lady says, I usually connect to your sessions from a link you send to our emails. All right. So that obviously did not go out to you again. We will fix that. Thankfully, redoing that whole system. So one way or the other, that's getting fixed. And I still don't know why. It says that it sends your email and you still don't get it. But we're going to get that figured out. I promise. Even if I have to send it personally myself. All right. Pathfinders, I will see you in 20 minutes over at the Pathfinders Live. Lady, I will send you in just a minute the direct link to the Pathfinders Live through a personal email from me, so I can make sure that you get that. And you've got this. All right. Download the anxiety worksheet, and I will see you soon. You're amazing. Bye now.